Samsung's budget A series lineup has always been confusing, and this year is no exception. The Galaxy A16 just launched at an absurdly low price, offering a 6.7-inch Super AMOLED display, 50-megapixel camera, and 5,000 mAh battery for what Samsung claims is the most affordable entry into their ecosystem. Meanwhile, the A36 sits higher in the lineup, promising 5G connectivity, faster performance with the Snapdragon 6 Gen 3 processor, IP67 water resistance, and 6 years of software updates. Both phones share the same screen size and similar camera specs on paper. Both target budget-conscious buyers who want Samsung's software experience without flagship pricing. The question isn't which spec sheet looks more impressive. It's whether the A36 premium features justify spending more than double what the A16 costs, or if Samsung's cheapest phone delivers enough capability that upgrading makes no sense. We're comparing the Samsung Galaxy A16 against the Galaxy A36, and one of these is definitively the better value. By the end, you'll know exactly which phone makes financial sense for your needs. Performance determines whether your phone feels responsive or frustrating during daily use. The Galaxy A16 uses a budget processor that Samsung doesn't heavily advertise. It's designed to handle basic tasks like browsing, social media, messaging, and light app usage. With 4 gigs of RAM, the phone keeps a few apps in memory but frequently reloads if you're multitasking heavily. Apps open acceptably fast for basic use, but you'll notice stuttering when switching between multiple apps or running anything graphically demanding. This is a phone for people who check email, scroll Instagram, send texts, and watch videos. Push it harder with gaming or intensive multitasking, and the limitations become obvious. The Galaxy A36 uses Qualcomm's Snapdragon 6 Gen 3 processor with 8 gigs of RAM. This is a meaningful step up in real-world performance. Apps open noticeably faster, switching between tasks feels smoother, and the extra RAM means apps stay in memory longer before reloading. You can run moderate mobile games without constant frame drops, and the phone handles multitasking competently. It's still a mid-range processor that won't match flagship speed, but the difference between 4 gigs and 8 gigs of RAM creates a tangibly better experience during daily use. The display reveals where cutting costs shows up immediately. Both phones feature 6.7-inch Super AMOLED displays with 1080 by 2340 pixel resolution, which means colors are vibrant, blacks are deep, and content looks sharp. The critical difference is refresh rate. The Galaxy A16 uses a 90 Hz refresh rate, which is smoother than standard 60 Hz displays but noticeably less fluid than higher refresh rates. Scrolling through social media or swiping between screens shows slight stuttering compared to phones with 120 Hz displays. The A16 also reaches 800 nits of peak brightness, which is adequate for indoor use and most outdoor conditions but struggles in direct harsh sunlight. The Galaxy A36 features a 120 Hz refresh rate display, and the smoothness difference is immediately apparent. Scrolling feels fluid and responsive. Animations look polished. Games that support high refresh rates run noticeably smoother. If you're used to 60 Hz phones, 120 Hz feels like a revelation. If you're coming from another 120 Hz device, the A16's 90 Hz will feel like a downgrade. The A36 also likely has better peak brightness based on Samsung's typical tiering, making it easier to read outdoors. Camera capabilities separate phones that take acceptable snapshots from phones that capture memories you'll actually want to keep. Both phones use 50-megapixel main sensors with similar apertures, and on paper they should produce comparable results. In practice, the A16's camera processing is basic. Photos in good lighting look decent with acceptable detail and color accuracy. Once lighting becomes challenging, the camera struggles. Low-light photos turn noisy with smeared details. The 2-megapixel macro camera is essentially useless, producing soft images with limited detail. The 5-megapixel ultrawide delivers functional but unimpressive results. Samsung's image processing on the A16 tends to oversaturate colors and oversharp edges to make photos pop on the phone screen, which looks punchy initially but doesn't hold up under scrutiny. The Galaxy A36 uses the same 50-megapixel main sensor but pairs it with better image processing software and additional cameras. The 8-megapixel ultrawide produces noticeably clearer results with less distortion. The 5-megapixel depth sensor helps with portrait mode shots. More importantly, Samsung's better processing algorithms on the A36 handle challenging lighting more capably, producing cleaner low-light photos with better dynamic range. Neither phone competes with Pixel or iPhone cameras at any price, but the A36 takes consistently better photos across all conditions. Battery life and charging determine whether you're tethered to power outlets or free to use your phone without anxiety. Both phones pack identical 5,000 mAh batteries and support 25-watt fast charging. In real-world use, both deliver similar battery performance. Users report comfortably getting through a full day of moderate to heavy use, with lighter users stretching to 2 days. The battery capacity is generous for this price tier, and both phones handle all-day reliability well. The critical difference is charging accessories. The Galaxy A16 doesn't include a charger in the box, forcing you to buy one separately or use an existing charger. If you don't already own a 25-watt USB-C charger, factor that additional cost into the A16's price. The Galaxy A36 includes a 25-watt fast charger, saving you the hassle and expense of buying one separately. From empty to full charge takes approximately 90 minutes with the proper charger on both phones. Connectivity reveals the most significant functional difference between these phones. The Galaxy A16 is a 4G LTE-only device with no 5G support. In 2026, this matters more than it did a few years ago. Major carriers have expanded 5G coverage substantially, and in areas with strong 5G networks, the speed difference is tangible. Downloading large files, streaming high-quality video, and using data-intensive apps all benefit from 5G speeds. The A16 works fine on 4G networks, but you're locked into slower data speeds for the phone's entire lifespan. Additionally, the A16's US carrier compatibility is extremely limited. It only works with T-Mobile and their MVNOs like Metro. If you use AT&T, Verizon, or most other carriers, this phone won't work. The Galaxy A36 includes full 5G support with extensive band compatibility. It works with T-Mobile, AT&T, and their MVNOs, giving you significantly more carrier flexibility. The 5G capability means you're future-proofed as carriers continue expanding their 5G infrastructure and eventually phase out 4G networks. This isn't theoretical. 5G makes a real difference in daily use when available. Software and update support determine how long your phone remains current and secure. Both phones run Samsung's One UI interface on Android 15. The Galaxy A16 hasn't been confirmed for specific update lengths by Samsung, which typically means it will receive fewer years of support compared to more expensive models. Based on Samsung's historical patterns, expect 2 to 3 years of major Android updates and 4 years of security patches. The Galaxy A36 comes with a guarantee of up to 6 major Android upgrades, which is genuinely exceptional for any Android phone at any price. This means you can use the A36 until 2031 and still receive the latest Android features and security updates. Buy the Samsung Galaxy A36. It's the phone that will serve you well for years rather than frustrate you within months. Links to both phones are in the description, but unless you literally cannot afford the A36, that's the obvious choice. If this comparison helped you avoid buying the wrong phone, subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.